Tonight's Faith Talk is entitled More Than a Phone Book, Finding God's Purpose in 1 Chronicles. When most people open 1 Chronicles, they often feel like they've started reading an ancient registry, names, genealogies, divisions, assignments. Chapter after chapter can feel like reading a spiritual census report. At first glance, it may seem dry, repetitive, maybe even irrelevant. But what if that reaction says more about how we read than about what God wrote? Because when we approach Scripture with patience, humility, and a genuine desire for wisdom, something extraordinary happens. Even the passages we once overlooked begin to reveal the nature of God. And 1 Chronicles does exactly that. What appears to be a historical record is actually a divine blueprint, one that teaches us three transformative truths. God designed us for worship. God calls us to faithful order. And everything we have already belongs to Him. The first lesson is worship. Buried within these chapters are detailed accounts of musicians, singers, and worship leaders appointed for service before the Lord. That alone should capture our attention. God did not treat music as an afterthought. Music in Scripture is not merely artistic expression, it is spiritual formation. God gave humanity music not simply to entertain us, but to shape us. Music has the power to move truth from the mind into the heart. It teaches us to remember. It helps us internalize what we believe. This is why worship matters so deeply. The songs we sing become the theology we carry. And that raises an important question. What is shaping your soul more, God's truth or the noise around you? Because worship is never neutral. We are all being formed by something. The second lesson is order. One of the reasons Chronicles can feel repetitive is because it is full of structure. Priests assigned, gatekeepers appointed, duties organized, responsibilities clarified. Why would God preserve so much detail? Because order reflects His character. Our God is not chaotic. He is intentional. The systems in Chronicles remind us that faith is not merely emotional passion, it is disciplined devotion. There is profound spirituality in consistency, in showing up, in serving faithfully, in honoring God not just with dramatic moments, but with steady obedience. We often search for God in the extraordinary, while He is often shaping us in the ordinary. Your routines matter. Your diligence matters. Your quiet faithfulness matters. A life built with godly order becomes a testimony that God's ways are trustworthy. And then comes perhaps the most humbling truth of all: ownership. 1 Chronicles reminds us that all we possess, our skills, resources, opportunities, and income, are gifts from God. This confronts one of humanity's deepest illusions: self-sufficiency. We say, "I earned this." But who gave you the mind to think, the body to work, the opportunity to grow, the breath to live another day? The truth is, we are not self-made. We are God-made. Our talents are entrusted. Our finances are entrusted. Our influence is entrusted. And once we understand that, gratitude replaces pride. We stop seeing ourselves as owners and begin living as stewards. That changes everything. It changes how we work, how we give, how we worship, how we live. So perhaps First Chronicles is not just above reading the phone book. Perhaps it is a profound reminder that God is in the details. He is in the names. He is in the structure. He is in the worship. He is in the stewardship. And maybe that's the deeper invitation of all Scripture. Not simply to read for information, but to read for transformation. Because the whole Bible trains us, not just the exciting parts, not just the miracles, not just the red letters, all of it. Even the genealogies teach us that God remembers. Even the lists teach us that God organizes. Even the offerings teach us that God provides. So the next time you come to a passage that feels ordinary, don't rush past it. Lean in. Ask questions. Seek wisdom. Listen carefully. Because sometimes the chapters we are most tempted to skip are the very ones that teach us how to worship deeply, live faithfully, and surrender completely. And that may be one of the greatest lessons of all. God's purpose is often hidden in places we least expect, until we seek Him earnestly enough to find it.